Guys, welcome to this new YouTube video. Today, we'll be seeing how to add users to our EKS cluster, okay? So today, we'll be seeing how to add users to our EKS cluster. So if you haven't watched our previous video on how to set up an EKS cluster, you can go and watch how we did to set up this cluster in a very simple way. So today, we want to see how we can add users to this cluster, other users to this cluster. So if you have been having some problems on how to add users, this video will be the best for you because the video is very simple and is going to be showing you everything you need to do in order to successfully add users to your cluster, okay? So I'm going to go straight to the video not to waste your time. First, I provided some notes for you. So the first thing you need to know is the credential used to provision your EKS cluster are the authorized credentials to modify or edit your config map. Okay? So the credential you use to deploy your EKS cluster, these are the credentials that you're going to use to edit your config map, okay? So this was my cluster, the script of my cluster, which I used in deploying the cluster, okay? So which credential did I use? That's a good question. Which credential did I use? I'm going to show you the command to check AWS STS get caller identity. This one is just to know the current credentials I'm using, right? So in my own case, you can see I was using my root profile in AWS, okay? I was using my root profile in AWS to create this cluster, and you should also know if you're working in an environment whereby you're working with multiple clusters, you need to switch to this cluster before you start. You need to switch to your created cluster, right? If you have to add users. If I try, for example, kubectl get node, let's run one command and see. Kubectl get node. Now, what am I getting? It says could not get current server API group list. All right. Can you see could not get current server API? So it's failing. No host, no such host. I'm sure some of you might be having such error messages. You said, but I just created the EKS cluster. I have created the EKS cluster and I am currently using the default profile which I use to provision this cluster, but what's happening, I am unable to get it. So I'm trying to do this little going back and forth so you understand before we start adding the users in the cluster, because someone might be stuck up trying to connect just to that cluster and there's no way, okay? So you need to take note that anytime that you have added a new cluster, you need to must update the kubeconfig, right? So this is the command, AWS EKS, update kubeconfig -- region. What's the region of your cluster? Don't just copy this command and run. What's the region of your cluster? Maybe yours is US West 1. And what's the name of your cluster? Maybe the name of your cluster is Netflix company. Okay? So you must switch to the context first, which I'm going to do now. So now we are checking. Okay, what does it say? Dash updated context. Okay, let's run our previous command. Let's run our previous command. Keep taking notes. Let's see if we get this note. Now, are we getting the notes? We're able to get the notes, right? So make sure you're able to access your cluster first before you try adding users, okay? And make sure you're using the default profile. As I earlier told you, that created the cluster because that is only that is the cluster that has the permission. If you have multiple clusters, I don't know what to do. You should check, right? This command kubectx. It is showing all the clusters which you've been working on. Now, see, these are all clusters. I see. These are all clusters. Innova Stage EKS demo. Innova Dev EKS demo. Demo EKS. So I'm currently working on this cluster which is on green. Okay. So if you're working with a different cluster, you can switch to the cluster. And you have to come back to your default cluster. You can just run this command. So go back to the previous cluster that you were using. Good. So those are some small commands I had to show you before we get deep into the video so you don't have no issues. And now I'm going to explain to you what we are going to be doing, okay? So how do we add a user to our EKS cluster? So these are the steps which we are going to follow. We are going to create what we call a cluster role and a cluster role by intent first. And we are going to give permissions, which we can say we can give the read permission. We can give the deploy permission. And we can give what we call verbs, which is maybe just get, list, watch, nothing more. For example, for the developers. Okay. So you also notice that if you run this command, let me show you something. If we run this command, kubectl, get config map, kubesystem dash. Let me clear this. So can you see when we're checking the kube systems? So what we are going to be doing is we'll create a group in AWS, attach some role to this group and policies, and now we'll need to add these users in what we call our AWS auth. Okay, our AWS auth. This is now where we need to add these users, or else we will not be able to, the users will not be able to access or do any stuff. So no matter that I have created the permissions in the AWS and everything, these users will not still be able to access or do anything on this cluster unless they're added in the AWS auth. To avoid editing the AWS auth all the time and adding users and credentials, what we'll simply do is we'll create a group, add these groups to this AWS auth, which already have permissions, and whenever we want to add somebody or a user to any of these groups, we'll just go to AWS, we'll add them, and they'll automatically be in AWS auth. Okay? It's very important that you understand what I'm trying to tell you. So let me show you how it looks like. Let me show you how it looks like. kubectl get config map AWS auth -n in the kube. So we're getting this AWS auth. So this command should not figure out. Okay, they say kube systems not found. Who discovered the mistake I did? Who already discovered the mistake? Kube system or kube systems? It's kube system, right? Perfect. So now you can see, you see the example how it looks like, how the AWS auth looks like, right? This is the whole LN of our EKS node groups. Okay, so we are going to map the roles here. We are going to add groups. Where you see these groups, we are going to add the group in AWS. We are going to add maybe a developer group, maybe manager group or admin groups here in AWS. Here, the groups which we have created in AWS, and we are going to add them here. We are going to add them here. Okay, Once we add them here, the user will now be able to do what we want according to the permission we have given. So, so next, we'll say we're going to go to AWS, create a role and policy to be attached to that group, which we'll create. We're going to create a group called developer and attach the role to the group. Next, we'll create a user called developer and add the user to the developer group. So you understand this is right. And next, we're going to generate IAM credential for the user. That means secret access key, secret and access key. And we're going to run this command AWS configure, and we're going to configure this profile on our own end. And the next thing we're going to do now is to modify the AWS or config map in a kube system name space. Perfect. So take, for example, that a new developer just arrived in the environment. You need to add this developer to your cluster, all right? So you will not just go and add the new developer in your cluster like that, meaning you'll be editing your config map all the time, your AWS all the time, which is wrong. You just need to create a group, right? You need to create a group which you'll be adding roles and policies to this group, and you can now add this group to your AWS auth. Okay. So if I come to IAM, if I come to security credentials, okay, so you can create the group from the console, right? You can just click on create group. You can click on create group, you put the name, developer group, and I'm going to show you the policies to attach. But if you watch our previous video on how to create an AKS cluster, you will know that we use Terraform to create this cluster. So I'm not going to be doing this thing manually on the console. I'm going to be using Terraform. Okay? I'm going to be using Terraform. But does it mean that you cannot use your normal console? No, you can use it. So I'm going to have the script here. The script will be attached to the video. So this one was a total script which I built, which we used in our previous video, right? So this script also consists of what we call users, okay? So now, I want to show you what we'll be creating. Let me drag this down. So we are going to first add a policy. So I am policy document for developer. These are some of the policies. These are the policies you're going to see: list cluster, describe, list node, list update, list. So it's just mostly list, and describe. The permission will be given to the developer, right? Resources, they'll be able to list all resources, okay? Then we have another one, I am policy document for admins. This will be allow admins, admin allow roles. So you can go and do this manually. You just need to be searching for AWS I am policy document. You're going to see all of them on AWS and you reference them correctly, okay? But me, I'm here to provide you with the script. I'm here to give you the script that will make your life easy, whereby you can just do this job, okay? I'm not here to give you a total course from scratch. I'm here to make you know understand how to use this script and do your project. I'm not here to start delaying, okay? So first, we're going to be creating these users, right? You can create a user in the console. Maybe it will be more easier for you. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a user need what we call a login profile, right? So I'm creating a login profile, which for a user, and I'm also creating an IAM user called EKS user. You're going to see how we're going to reference all of this. And I'm creating an IAM group, right, called developer group. And you'll be seeing the policies which I'm referencing according to this IAM.tf. It's been referenced correctly. And you will notice that here is just the password. It's just saying that let this user choose a password, minimum 8 characters. And I'll also be creating another role for managers and all that. So you can create a group here called developer. You attach a list of policies, you just attach. Then you come to users. Yes, I'll just leave. You come to users. I'll not do it manually, okay? You create the users. You can create the users which you have to create. And you can create maybe developer 1, developer 2, manager. So that we'll create one group for developers, one group for admins. So that's what we'll be doing. That's what we'll be doing, okay? And here is just the provider. Here is just the provider. Here is just the provider, okay? Don't bother about this rollback.yaml and roll.yaml. We're going to be using them. We're going to be using them. We're going to be doing kubectl-l-roll.yaml. So we're going to be creating these roles, okay? And this is just variables. This is just variables where we have username, developers and manager, development and production environment, and tax production. So there's nothing to worry about here, right? It's simple. You can, let me show you another strategy. Let me show you another strategy. You should work with AI, right? It's important. What are policies to attach to, this policy, right? This is just at times when you don't want to go deep to your scripts. What are the policies to attach to my group in AWS, which permits my developers to read and list only in my case cluster. You can type this anyhow, as long as AI is going to give you the policies. So AI will give you some policies to read. You can always equally ask AI like detailing by stage, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? It's going to assist you. It's going to help you. It's going to help you. So it's going to assist you on little stuff to maybe edit, to save time, or some things that you knew maybe you've forgotten. So it's important, right? So for the provider, you already know the provider. We're using AWS, US is one. My team, I just put DevOps version. You can use any version, right? Let me change this version. I'll not change it. I can still change it to 5.0, or I delete the version. It's going to use the latest version. I'll output here. I'll be using something we call keybase to decode the password. So don't bother. I'm going to show you. So we also have our resource here that will be creating policy, case admin. Don't bother. Some of the policies will be used when we're adding our managers to the cluster, okay? So that said, you have this and you understand up to this stage, then you're ready for this provisioning. So see you in the next course, okay? Welcome back to the second part of this video. The first part, I will explain you how we'll be creating users. So we're going straight to how we'll be creating these users, right? So we're seeing the same video as separated into two, part one and part two, so you can take a 5-minute break. So we'll come back. So now what we'll be doing here is we're going to first of all be running some basic commands so we can create this role, okay? So I'm going to run some basic commands to first of all create this role. If we do kubectl, get roles, you're going to see that no resource was found in the default place, right? Okay. So we want to create this role backend, role.yaml, okay? So I told you that these are roles that we're going to give to our developers. Just the role name will be reader, and they'll be able to do what just get list and watch, nothing more. Okay. I will have another one, RBAC.yaml, which will be a reader as well. This is for Uber cluster Uber engine, right? So let's create these roles first. Keep it. So let's say your company told you to create a role, and they want you to add more verbs like not only get list and watch, but to add more content. It's easy, right? You're just going to edit, make sure that you edit. You're going to edit, you add more roles, you add more verbs here, what they can do, maybe deploy. Apart from get, they can also deploy, they can do whatever, right? But for now, this is just for our developers. We'll just get list and watch. So when we'll be doing for the admins or for the manager, you're going to see we're going to give different verbs to the manager, okay? So it's important that you also watch the next video that's coming. So kubectl create dash f role dot what dot yaml. You can edit the scripts. You must not use my very scripts. Okay, we have created our own. Let's create the next one. We'll bind in RBAC dot YAML. Enter. So it's created, right? So now if we do kubectl get rows, you see nothing in the default namespace, right? Now we do kubectl get rows dash dash all namespace. Name spaces. Okay. Perfect. So you're going to notice that now we are able to get what we were looking for. But now I'm going to EKS not go manager. We have that. EKS. I want to show you the reader. Okay. I want to show the reader role that we just created. So just watch the command we're going to run. kubectl get cluster role. This is the correct command. Perfect. It's the correct command, right? So we're looking for the role that we created called reader. Now, can you see it? Can you see it? That is the role that we call reader. Now, want to describe this role. So we should see if it's same, okay? So I'm just going to change this. Let me do Control L. I'm going to change this. kubectl describe cluster role. What's the name of the cluster role? Reader. You're going to see, you're going to now see the same role, what they can do. Now, what can they do? Get list watch. Can you see get list watch? Get list watch. Get list watch. Okay. The resources config map, they can get deployment, they can get pods, they can get secrets, they can get services, they can get. So that's what we said. We have created the role. Now that we have created the role, let's now go to create our user. You know, I told you that we're going to have a user, and this user, we're going to be creating a group. What will happen here is that, let me track this down. I'll be creating a user called EKS, a developer, and I'm going to be grouping a group called developer. I'll be creating another user called manager, right? So with this script, don't get freaked out. I'm just going to be creating two users, one developer and one manager. The developer that we're creating will be found in the developer group, okay? Why the manager will not be found in any group. So that's just what I'm doing. So let's do Terraform init. Terraform plan. Let's validate first, right? Terraform validate. Terraform plan. So you can create this group in AWS and add the policy. Okay, you can create this group and you can create these users and attach them to the group. So let's see what we created. Let me try. So what we're creating here is an AWS group called EKS developer will be created. You see, EKS developer will be created. And we're going to be having a developer that will be attached to this group, a user. I will have a membership role that will be created. And also, we're going to be creating some I am go policy for developers with what they can do, list described. Okay. And we'll also be creating I am policy for EKS admin. I told you we're going to be having an admin which will not be part of the group. So this I am role for managers, which will be attached directly to the manager because we're creating two users, managers and developer, okay? So that's just what we're creating. So Terraform, apply, how to, okay, now we're creating users, right? We're creating users, two users, manager and developer, can you see? Manager and developer. Perfect. So it says it has created the two users. You see very fast. Now, if these users were to log into AWS immediately, they'll need to decrypt this using base 64. These are the passwords. These are the passwords. They'll need to decrypt this and they'll get the password which you'll use to log into AWS console, okay? If they were to use this for the first time to log in, but number will be creating an AWS access key for them, right? So I'm making things very, very simple for you. Not trying to delay the video, make the video longer. I'm just going straight to the point so you can understand what you came to watch and you can subscribe. So I told you we're creating one group called developer. Can you see the group? This is the group for developer. Okay. Users, can you see users? Users in the group who created developer. I would have typed developer one, or I would have typed a name like Mark the developer or something. Permissions. It's loading the policy. This is the policy we created for developers. This is the policy. We can modify this policy. We are not yet to modify the policy. Can you see? Allow developer, allow to EKS list, squad. Okay. So I'm going back. And I'm going to the user. I have two users. I told you, right? Developer, which is a user, which is in the developer group, and manager, which is not part of any group. Okay. This manager is not in any group. If you check group, it's not in any group. Tax, team, department, okay? The case user. So this is RN. We can create access key for this manager. We go to policies. You see that we will have those policies that we have created, right? We have created some policies already, which we'll be using. Okay. So you can just create all of these as easy as that. You will have your user developer one, and you have your other user, the manager. So you can create different groups. You have a lot of managers in your group, in your environment. You can just create a group for manager, and you're going to add this manager, into a group, right? So let me go back to users. We'll go on role as well. This is roles. Okay. So these are some of the roles which have been created. Can you say manager EKS role? This is a role which he's going to assume EKS admin. This is the role which the manager assumes. I'm just trying to show you so you can see. So this is what this man will be able to do. So these are just the roles which we have created. Manager EKS roles. Okay, so now we want to bring this developer one to want to authenticate to this profile. So I'm going to create access key. This guy to be able to access the command line interface. Take note that this is just a new developer that just came to our environment. Our created access and secret access key for this user. Description. New developer. New developer. I'll just create the access key. That's good. It has been created. I'll copy this access key. I'm just going to type here developer one. Developer one. That's access key. So just put here access key. And I'll post this down. I'll just put here as a secret access key. Okay. So what are we going to do next? Now that we have these credentials, we have credentials of developer one and developer two. Okay, now I would like to clarify something before moving on. Whatsoever I'm doing, you can get the steps on my GitHub. Go to my GitHub, click on users, here in users, click on readme, perfect. So you're going to see all the commands that I've used in this video, which I typed them down for you. Then now you're going to see this part where it says how to add users to your EKS cluster, okay? So it says create a web binding cluster, web binding. The script for use is made of TF, create two developer one and manager. The developer group and the manager group is being created, perfect. Step by step to add users in the EKS group. First, seed into your user, run this command, cell, create that. So everything I'm doing word by word, okay? Next, you can generate your PGP key here. You click on the link. So next, you need to configure a user profile for all the users you created. Let's say, for example, we have just created a developer. We have to configure a profile for this developer, right? So Here you will get all of the commands step by step on everything I'm saying, which I've provided to you. For those that might be confused, I've created everything for you. So now I have to add this user, which I'll call him developer one. Now it's asking me for AWS access key for this developer one. What will I do? Would they have the access key here that I will copy? So I'm making everything very simple for you. If you do not understand them, I don't know. Everything is simple for you. Even for a newbie, for a new folk that just joined, to be able to add a user to the cluster. So I'm going to copy that once more. So what have I done? I don't have only one command control C, sorry. Some of my keys are freezing. Let me just go to AWS console and copy from there. My keyboard is having a lot of issues. See this work, right? Then secret access key. Region is the same, US is one, the format the same. So now that we have configured this profile, now that I've configured this profile, let's go and follow the steps of what I prepared for you. So it says now, let's add the developer in our EKS cluster. You must edit the AWS auth. So you must edit the AWS auth. And now I would like to show you something. I would like to show you something. So I'll have to see the back. I have to show you these credentials because you'll be confused that, oh, I've overwrite my default credentials. You might be saying to yourself, oh, this guy has overwrite his default credentials. No, I have not. Okay. I'm going to cut credentials. I've not override my credentials. Now, have you seen the credential for developer? That is it. That's credential for developer. I have other credentials, okay? I have other credentials. This credential for developer here. This is my default credentials. You cannot do anything with it. These are all the other credentials, okay? So I've not override my credentials. I have other AKS admin credentials. Was just to show this to clarify you that I have not, for those saying that I might have override the credentials, I have not, okay? After you have added a profile, you should be able to see that, okay? It was very important that I show you that. Perfect. So now that we have now that we have added the developer profile. Now let's add the developer in our EKS cluster. So you must edit the AWS auth. Okay. So this is the command we're going to use. Keep the edit -n keep system config map AWS auth. Copy that. another tab will generate. So it has opened. For mine, it has opened on my notepad, right? Because me, I prefer to use mine on my notepad, okay? So what you need to come and do is, you need to come where there is data. You click on, oh, sorry. Be very careful while editing this, right? You click on map. You type map users, colon, type. Map users. And once we have mapped that user, what we do, we have to, we have not mapped the user, we have just type map user, right? You see map rows, map user, everything. You just need to come and put your dash. You put user. Every time I'm typing, I provided it in my GitHub, user ARN. That now let me go and copy the ARN of the user. So what I'm trying to show you is, I'll first of all add this user alone. And later I'll come and add this, I'll come and add the group. Okay, so don't freak out, developer. You need to copy this ARN. Put that right. So it's called developer. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down again. I'll put a username, developer groups. What was the name of our group? The name of our group was developer, right? But now I'm just adding this guy in the reader group. But I've not created any stuff like a reader group. I'm adding this one. Remember the roles we created. We created a role called reader. That's what we're actually doing now. Okay. If it was an admin, we're going to add him in the system masters. And if we add him in the system masters, he's going to have all permission to override everything. So I cannot come where it says group. I come and put, for example, dash system masters. So no, we can't do that, right? So it's just what we are going to add. Just what we are going to add. Okay. So once this is done, once this is done, we're going to save. Okay. So to save, we put escape. Escape colon W. No. Let me see. Okay, it opened the notepad. So we have to escape first. Let me see. Okay, let me try to close and see if it goes. Close. Oh, it said it's cancelled because we didn't save. 1 minute. So I'm just going to see what I've edited. So what happened here? I just map user AN in a group called read, and I just came, I click on save. That was all, and I closed. And it came and, like, for example, I've not made any changes. So if I would have made changes, we'll say AWS would edit it. Okay. So that's what I did. I just click on save, and that was all, because mine comes out on my notepad. If you just come out of your browser, you do WQ, yes, exclamation and say. So let's go to our script to know what we're doing next. So now that I've added, now that I've added, now that we've given permission to this guy, what do we need to do? So I told you there was a command here. Below is the data line. What you need to add. AWS, and next stage, I'll be your keep config dot change profile. All right. So we need to change the profile. AWS EKS or make you config as demo as name as profile developer US one. So we want to use the profile of this developer. I'm the admin. I'd already authenticated everything, right? I have my system have the password of the developer. So I want to switch AWS EKS or make you config dash name dash profile developer. So when I want to switch back to my old profile, you see, so now I have to use the developer's profile, okay? I have to use the developer's profile. So now I've run that command. Now I'm going to say kubectl config view dash minify. So I'm trying to check. So now, do you see who's using this profile? AWS profile developer, okay? So this is the cluster demo, the name, the context, about the certificate, everything you need to know. So I'm using who? Which profile am I using? Developer, thank you. So it was important that you get that. So we have added the developer profile, okay? So this developer now, this is now the developer environment that I'm using. This is no longer my root profile, okay? This is no longer my root profile. This is now the developer profile. We have passed it in our hot config, and this developer has which permission just to list. So will it surprise you if they can't do anything apart from that one? Will it surprise you? They can get the right kubectl get port. Let me see. Kubectl in minutes. Kubectl get port. So we can get right because we can get list. We can do kubectl. So if you want to know, what this guy can do, right? We just do kubectl. Oh, what's happening? kubectl auth. Can I get secrets? Yes, because you can get right. Let's ask again. kubectl, can I get ports? Well, actually, all right. It says yes. Okay, now let's try. Let's say, can I create? Can I create? No. So this is just an example of what I will show you. So this is the developer's profile that I'm using. This is the developer's profile I'm using, right? If I try to deploy something like kubectl on nginx dash image dash image equals to Nginx. It feels right. Cannot create. So it's forbidden because this user does not have the permission, right? This user does not have the permission. So you have to be very happy that I've showed you how to add a user to the group and limited permission. Only from this, you're able to do every stuff. So only from here, you're able to see what this developer was able to do to get list watch. That's all what he can do. And if you even see the resources, they can get just deployment, config map, port, secret, and services. That's all. That's what they can get, watch, list. Okay. If you come and say, for example, kubectl get ingress, since it's not in my resources, it's not going to work. Kubectl can I let's say for example, kubectl get ingress. It's not working, right? Because on the resource here, there's nothing like ingress. It's forbidden, right? There's nothing like that. It's forbidden. So if you want to add more commands to this user, you must edit maybe your role.yaml. You can add more resources, and then you deploy. You switch back to your admin profile. You deploy back this role.yaml, kubectl-f role.yaml. You deploy it. Then it's going to update, right? This user, this developer will be able to do some few more stuffs, okay? So as that developer are unable to do, so you're going to see, check if the new profile developer is added. You see kube minify, this is a command. Use the following command to check the permission. Kube say, can I get what, can I get that? To go back to your default profile that created the cluster, just run this command. So let's run this command. So you should be lucky that I'm showing all of this, okay? For free. If you like to support me, you can comment. So if you have some issues with DevOps and cloud, some topics that you like me to do videos like this, just let me know. I'm going to do a very simplified video just like this, and you'll be able to do their work. So now I've come back to our default profile. If you do kubectl, and say auth, can I create? Were we able to create with the other profile? No, can I create port? You'll see yes. Can I see? Yes. Okay. This is now because we switch. This is because we switch to our main profile, right? If I now run back this command, kubectl config view minify. So now I use our default profile. There's nothing again down there. You're going to see like developer or any stuff. So now we're back to our default profile that created the cluster. If we're using developer down here, you would have seen dash the new profile that we added. Okay. So now that we are back to our main profile, we can add more permission. We can add more permission, maybe what they can do. We can add more roles to these groups, and that's all. Okay. So we will not be adding let's say we will not be adding users all the time, just the way we did in our config map, okay? So instead of doing that, you so if I just need to create a developer tool, I'm going to add developer tool to that very group. If you come here, if I want to add maybe developer tool, I'm just going to create developer tool and I'll add him to the developer group, okay? And I'll add the person to this developer group. Don't worry about this manager. This manager will be on our next video, how to add admins to the EKS cluster, okay? So this one was how to add normal users, like especially developers. But if you were to add more groups, you're going to know how to add more groups, okay? So it's not going to be something that will be complicated. So you have seen how we can add users to the group, how we can add users to our AWS EKS cluster. You have seen that. So we can modify. I don't want to waste my time. We can modify and add create. Instead of get this word, we can add here create. On these verbs, apart from this, we can come and add create, okay. Apart from this, I can just come here. Oh, okay, I just add create. So for now, it's showing right? So once I've added this create, now you see it's still showing red. Once I've added this create, as I'm with my default profile, I can now do what? I can now create back that pod. Once I've deployed, I can now do kubectl apply-f, hold on YAML. Once I've done that, we can now switch to the developer, and now you notice that the developer is now able to create, and we can now create an Nginx. Okay, so I don't want to waste time doing that. You can just try it as an exercise. It's very easy. Just come to YAML, add create, kubectl apply-f, YAML, and now you switch back to the developer's profile, and now try to do AWS or can I create. You'll notice that yes, you can create. Okay. So perfect. Perfect. Now, subscribe to this channel because we'll have the next video, which is going to be showing you how to add admin. On the next video, I'm going to explain to you detailing. We are going to create 2 different groups again. We'll add these groups to our AWS auth, and managers will assume their own groups, the policies that's attached to their own groups, and developers will assume. So that will be all about adding users, be the manager. But just from this video, if you're able to use your brain, you will know that to just add managers to this cluster, you need to create another role of YAML, which is for managers. You give the name instead of read. You can just give the name create or manager role, something like that. And you can on the verb say you can add everything. On the resources, you can put all the resources. You can put all resources, and verbs you can put all. Any person that assume that managers will be able to do everything. Okay, be able to do everything. So before our next video comes, you have to add the managers. It will become very easy for you because you can just edit this code.yaml, as I've said. You make sure that everything has all, and a group, and we provision a group in AWS. The group is going to assume every stuff, and we are good to go. Okay, we are good to go. So you can also study ahead of what we'll be doing by just going to the EKS. You're going to see how to add managers to the cluster. It says make sure you have created a role for your manager. Go to AWS and create access key for your manager. Configure a profile, just as we did AWS configure manager, and you add your access and secret access key. just as you did. Then next you cat config, and next you add a role for the manager. So you scroll down, you copy the error. Next, edit and copy the auth. So you can just copy this and edit just the error, right? And groups will be system masters. Okay. And now you update, you run this command to update. Now let's switch to the manager profile. You switch to the manager profile. Next, you run this command. This command means, can you get everything? Then you check also Kubernetes to see that manager's profile. So, and also we'll be saying how to create admin group and add users to your EKS cluster. So, the next video will be seeing all of this, okay? And that'll be done on how to add users to clusters, okay? So, if you like this video, please subscribe, share to your friends that have issues on EKS. And if you have more troubleshooting problems on EKS clusters, just let me know. So I'm going to do a video for you on whatever you have on your EKS, be it depending on application, be it monitoring or whatever. So please subscribe. And if you would like to offer something like a gift or whatever, you can let me know in the comment section. Thank you and bye-bye. See you in our next video.